are you such a mega bitch? Because I can be.
Hey! We're recording the podcast!
Get ready, Mush.
Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is
Morning Subway!
for June 29th, 2026. I was at that early. My name is Brady Burns, sitting right over there. She's always on time. It's Ashley Burns. That's everybody.
It's because we got distracted by, once again, keeping track of Mush's emotional state while shouting the intro.
I think he is, though, adjusting because usually I would think a cat, when they hear a yell like that, would turn and then run away, right? But he just turns and looks at you with like, what? Why are you yelling like that?
You know what, though? I think it's a sign that this is a close and loving family when shouting is a sign that someone is doing something funny and not something scary.
That is true. I was yelling at the kids this weekend, and they were like, do it again.
They thought it was so
They were
funny.
Like, do it again. Do it again. You're yelling? Do it again. I was like, am I either doing something really right with these kids or something really wrong?
You're setting yourself up for some real trouble during their teenage years.
Right, when dad yells.
When they're
going to
feel so safe and secure and not scared of you at all.
So funny. That's why we have locks on the windows and bars. That's why. Hey, it's Monday, everybody.
Welcome. I hope everyone had a great weekend.
We had a good
You had
one.
lots of fun.
We had a good one.
It
We
was
went on a
nice.
little road trip. We went down to Glen Alecky and had some barbecue, which we determined wasn't actually barbecue. It was more like fusion.
But there was barbecue. There was brisket in the fusion, and that was a delight.
I'm going to condense the whole conversation we had on the sponsor chat down to one point that I think is my main takeaway. I'm not eating pickled red onions anymore. I'm done with those.
That's the highlight of the discussion.
I don't know who's making all the money from these little pink pickled red onions, but
I'm telling you, it's a probiotic.
I'm telling you, it's just food trucks that
Good
serve
for
these
your
things.
gut.
I don't know why, but where did they come from? I didn't have those when I was a kid. These little pink things in my food. Now I got these little pink things that I can't tell what they taste like. That doesn't taste like a pickle, doesn't taste like an onion. Anyway, I'm done with them. It's over. It's over.
It's whatever. It's good for you.
But a big weekend. We've moved into the elimination rounds of the World Cup now. It's been
Officially
settled.
high stakes now.
There were 6 different things, conditionals for Scotland, and 4 of the 6 needed to happen in order for Scotland to advance.
How many happened?
The first 2 of them that came up, we didn't get. So I was like,
immediately.
Okay. So now we have to bat 1,000.
And then it's like the chances of going through drop down to like 0.05% from like 12%, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was like, I want to say the one that finally eliminated us was Ghana not defeating Colombia by 3 goals or something like that.
Yeah, that's a really specific path you have to chart.
3 goals.
That you're in no control of whatsoever. So we're on now to the elimination rounds. The high stakes are here. You lose, you go home. I love it.
Yeah, and already Canada has sent South Africa packing. So shall we go really quickly through the roster of teams that's going to be facing each other?
Let's please do.
All right, here are your matchups. I'm going to go through them very quickly. Germany is facing off against Paraguay. France is facing Sweden. South Africa has already been eliminated by Canada. Netherlands is facing Morocco. Portugal versus Croatia. Croatia, by the way, is who Ghana had to beat. Not
I
Colombia.
see.
Spain is facing Austria. U.S. is up against Bosnia. And Belgium and Senegal are facing off. Brazil against Japan, Ivory Coast versus Norway, Mexico versus Ecuador, England versus Congo, Argentina versus Cape Verde. They made it into the elimination rounds. That's pretty interesting.
Good job, Cape Verde.
When you draw with Spain, I guess that happens. Australia versus Egypt, Switzerland against Algeria, and Colombia facing off against Ghana. Maybe that's where I picked that up. Anyway, so Ghana got in even though they were part of the process of us getting eliminated. They were supposed to win by 3 goals, and they lost by 1.
Pulling up the ladder behind you, I see Ghana.
Yeah. Thanks for nothing, Ghana. I'm going to be changing my holiday plans. That's for sure. We actually have friends who went to Croatia just recently.
Yeah. It's a really big thing. The topic of discussion amongst like all the families in our area is, where are you going on holiday? That's like the second the kids get out of school for the summer, poof, every family disappears and they're off to some holiday somewhere in the world that is not here, which we're always confused by because, obviously we moved here. We love it. This time of year is absolutely gorgeous where we live. We're like, this is the time to be here. Meanwhile, everyone who's grown up here is like, get me the hell out of here. The second summer starts, a bunch of families, they're like pulling their kids out of school early. They're already gone.
This is going to sound weird to people who don't live in this kind of environment, but there's a lot of little villages. Like where we live is our little pocket area, but there's a lot of stuff we don't have here. But occasionally I have to think to myself, when was the last time I left the village? Like sometimes it's 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. Like when's the last time you made the grand trip to Tesco?
Right. Or something like that. You know what I mean? Which sounds weird because I would never think about that in Austin. Like when was the last time I left Austin? It's been over a month and I haven't left Austin. But it's almost like, when was the last time I left home? Basically, it's like saying the same thing, right? Because we do range away from the village quite frequently. But then there'll be 2 or 3 weeks where it's like,
where we just don't. The farthest we go is popping down to the co-op.
Or go down to get a pint or something like that. And that's it.
It's because we've got this garden growing and everything is coming into season now. So we're having these luscious strawberry harvests. The first of the blueberries are turning blue. The sugar peas are coming in. So pretty soon we'll be able to live off the land.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. Although the blueberries, I think they picked them a little bit too soon. Those are little, measly, tiny little blueberries.
No. That's because, so we have a bunch of different types of blueberry bushes. And the blueberry bush that's turning blue at the moment, it always turns blue before the others. And I think it's because it's smaller blueberries.
Your garden is a work of art, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Can I post photos of that? Is that okay?
You may. Let's show it off. The trellis flowers have grown over enough now that it does feel braggable.
Footpaths in there and everything. Awesome. I'll post photos of it. But before we get too far away from sports, first of all, good luck to everybody at the World Cup. I'm really looking forward to this part of the World Cup, the lose and you go home. It's also this is where we get, there's no more draws, so we get the penalty shootouts now then enter into the equation, which people really love.
People love the shootout at the end. Like,
or if they're tied.
Everyone scored absolutely nothing, so now you just kick the ball at each other.
This is going to show my ignorance of the sport. I'm not sure if there's like an overtime period of 30 minutes, and then after that they go to penalty shootouts. I think that's the case. Maybe you can look it up and tell me what the
look up how this
FIFA rules are. But I have to realize too that maybe as a sports fan, because there's so many sports out there, I realized something about myself. I have been consuming WNBA news all weekend because I fell in love with this clip. The incredible energy of this player on Indiana. Her name is Sophie Cunningham. Have you seen some of the clips of this meme with her pointing?
I think so. Wait, is this the blonde girl that's just pointing and everyone is going like ape shit around her and she's just standing there pointing at someone?
It's almost like in a video game when you accidentally hit the button that locks you on to your enemy, your boss enemy, and wherever you go, you're facing the boss. Like she pointed at someone and I guess they objected to her pointing at them. And so then she goes, "Oh, you don't like me pointing at you?" So she just points at them.
So she points harder.
And then like people there's officials coming in from the sides, from
they're all trying to like head off a brawl.
It looks like security comes in at one point, guys in lanyards and stuff, and they're all just getting in her way. But she just like locks on to whoever this person is and won't stop pointing at them for about 30 seconds straight, which is a long time when someone just locked into you just pointing.
So I don't know a lot about the WNBA, but here's what I know about the background for that is I guess Caitlin Clark, which is one of the WNBA players that we know, had got a penalty. And this player, Sophie Cunningham, felt like the other player should also have gotten a penalty and was like, why didn't she get a penalty? And it's like, don't point at me. And she's like, oh, don't point at you. I'm going to point that much harder. And so that's how that went down. So really,
don't tell me how to hurt you.
Yeah, she's a girl's girl. And I also love that like pointing fingers can like lead to like full on that looked like it was about to lead to violence.
So I've been watching a lot of clips too. These ladies are mean. I saw one clip with her. I guess she's like the enforcer on their team, where she like
she's like shoulder checking people.
Well, somebody poked Caitlin Clark in the eye on a shot, and while they were defending her, and then the very next play, like this Sophie Cunningham like takes her down in a headlock. And like Caitlin Clark getting punched in the throat was a big story.
So really, if you want contact sports, watch WNBA.
No, I'm gonna walk back about 40 years of discourse from my gender here. I think I watch the WNBA now the way that men have always accused women of watching men's sports, where I just like, ooh, are they friends? I like that uniform. Ooh, she can tell she doesn't like her. And I'm having a fantastic time. You ladies who watch sports that way, you were doing it right the whole time. I'm enjoying the fuck out of this.
And you know what? A lot of I feel like women are leaning into it with the World Cup. A lot of the clips that I'm consuming of the World Cup on Instagram are girls that are like, and they say we don't know anything about soccer. And it's like, this is what a goal is. It's the ball in the net. That's the hot goalie. That's the guy. That's the guy who cheated on his fiance. His wife has a huge ring. That's the one who cheated on Shakira, and that's how we as ladies consume. It's like we know all the stories around the World Cup.
That's
right?
how I am with the WNBA. I can't tell you a single stat or championship run. I have no information like that in my head at all. But I'm like, okay. Sophie Cunningham. She used to play for the Phoenix, whatever that team is called. And then she came over to Indiana. And now she's with Caitlin Clark. And then, don't even get me started on Angel Reese. I have no information. It's just all drama the whole way down. I love it. I love it.
Come on. In the end, isn't that what the beauty of sports is? That it's like all low stakes drama.
That's what I should do for the World Cup and just really aggravate the shit out of everybody.
By the way, with the World Cup, you were asking about overtime. If the match is tied after 90 minutes, teams will play 30.
What do you mean if? Sorry, go ahead.
30 minutes of extra time divided into two 15-minute halves, followed by a penalty shootout if they're still tied.
15, okay, gotcha. So there's 2 overtime periods, which I assume are sudden death.
Of like 15 minutes.
Right.
They're 2 15-minute halves, short break in between the halves. Unlike the regular halftime, the break is very brief because the players are already fatigued. So I guess they're...
Is that the golden goal? What am I hearing about with the golden goal? What is the golden goal?
Golden goal?
In soccer, yeah. Golden goal.
That's if you marry a soccer player and he gives you a big ring.
Yeah, one of the dramas that I found out, you were telling me that the guy who gave all of his money to his mom is playing in this. Is he playing this World Cup?
Oh God, I have no idea. I don't even know the name of the guy who gave the money to his mom. That's just one of the examples of like the ways in which like I would consume the sport is be like, I know who that is. That's the guy who hid all his money with his mom.
I love that story because I love the weird economic stuff. And that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like everybody picked up that story that this soccer player put everything in his mom's name, right? Who I'm just going to assume, I'm going to make a huge assumption here that the mother of the soccer player is older by about a generation than the soccer player himself. Is that a fair assumption to make?
That's a fair assumption to make.
I think that's a pretty fair assumption to make. Statistically, that's like 100%.
Kind of the way that the generations work, sure.
So everyone's like, oh, yeah, look, they got divorced and he hid all the money from his wife or whatever. But you're just going to get hit with inheritance tax. I mean, it could be possible that they're in a country that has 0 inheritance tax, but it's like you're guaranteeing that like you're going to lose a significant portion of your own income when your mom eventually passes away. It's just a weird thing to me.
Right. Unless, this is a player from Morocco. So it might be that in Morocco, inheritance works very differently. Like there might not be the kind of inheritance tax that we have grown up being accustomed to. That might not be a thing.
And which in a lot of European countries is actually much more aggressive. Let's put it that way. I was just talking with somebody here about our sales tax, value added tax, VAT, is 20% in the UK, at least in the part that we're in. I assume it's nationwide. And we've talked about this before, but if you think about like the Xbox prices, if an Xbox costs whatever it costs now, like $600 in tax, you got to tack on another $120 on that because of VAT. And I was talking with him about that because we were pricing out like garden equipment. And I said, in the US, like in Texas, sales tax is only 8%. We call it sales tax. And he goes, oh my gosh, in America, it's only 8%. I go, actually, in America, there's probably other places where it's less. I think some places are like 2 or 3%. But then I looked it up.
There's a couple that don't have it at all. I know Oregon doesn't have sales tax.
Okay, the states that don't have any sales tax whatsoever are Oregon, New Hampshire, Delaware, Alaska, and Montana. None of those states have any sales tax at all, 0%. How do you, New Hampshire's right there in New England. Like, it takes nothing to drive to New Hampshire. What prevents people from going in and just buying stuff in New Hampshire and just driving back? Because I'm assuming New York sales tax has to be pretty significant.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. You could also be on a road trip and you just stop somewhere and you're like, wow, everything's really cheap. And then you drive a few more blocks, stop and you're like, everything got expensive again. What happened? Oh, that was New Hampshire.
Oh, right, exactly. Why was my Coke 12 cents?
But the thing is that a lot of the states that choose to do no sales tax end up making it up in other ways, either a higher income tax or like Texas has no state income tax. They make it up in property tax, like exorbitant property tax. So it's not that you're not paying. It's that you're paying some other way.
Which we had a long discussion. I thought a pretty good discussion in the comments of the episode where we were talking about unrealized gains and taxes thereon. And I had to, kind of come to terms with the fact that when we lived in Texas, property tax is tax on an unrealized gain because every year the county would tell you, hey, guess what? Congratulations. Your house just went up an extraordinary amount in value because it's in Travis County in Austin, one of the hottest real estate markets in the nation.
And because the value's gone up, you're now being taxed at a higher rate.
Now being taxed at a higher rate. And it's like there's a whole process in Texas of protesting your property value. Like literally you go fight with the city to go, hey, no, my house is way shittier than this. Like
and that's something that you have to do on like a yearly basis.
You got to go park like a car with no tires in your front yard and go, look at this piece of shit I live in. Come on, Travis County, cut me a break here, pal. It really is. And there's a whole industry around it too. Like you sign up with services to lower your property tax.
Or they'll go like protest on your behalf and or like claim whatever exemptions they can get. Like there's an entire industry around trying to minimize your property tax.
Which it's crazy because when you combine a very high property tax rate with a super hot real estate market like in Austin, it's a huge state, right? So the real estate in Austin is far different in value than the real estate in Amarillo, for instance. No shade on Amarillo.
Some shade on Amarillo.
No, there's literally no shade. It's hot as hell there. They're in the desert. But there was a place that we saw that was for sale in Austin because, people share these like crazy real estate listings. And there was a place that was like $10 million, right? That was for sale in Austin. First of all, congratulations, whoever can buy a $10 million house. But the property tax on it alone was something like $250,000 a year.
So that's $250,000 every year that you have to pay to live in your house. That's not mortgage. That's not insurance. That's just the annual tax to live there.
$20,000 a month. Think about that. $20,000 a month. That's after you bought your house and paid for it and you own it. Somebody is paying $20,000 a month in property tax on that place. Rent.
You know what I bet that is? I bet that's the big boss at PlayStation who's in charge of all the licensing deals for their movies.
Does Sophie Cunningham have him on lock on?
You always know where that guy is because you're just pointing straight at him.
Do you ever use the lock on feature in video games? Do you ever use that? I feel
absolutely.
Like I should use it and I don't.
I do use it, and sometimes, as you noted, it can go poorly where you're trying to lock onto someone, but you will lock onto someone else, and now you're like, well, fuck.
I feel like the lock-on feature is right there next to the roll to dodge feature. Like games that have one also have the other. For some reason.
Well, it's because you can count on them potentially facing multiple foes. You've probably got a lot of timing to keep track of, and you're going to be able to need to dodge with alacrity.
But while we're talking about Xboxes and PlayStation, crazy story came up this weekend.
That's right. So PlayStation has a video store, kind of like the one that Microsoft had until they motherfucking shut it down. But as angry as we were when Microsoft shut down their TV and movie store because we weren't going to be able to buy new stuff, now we have one of those like emotional beats of, at least I'm not that guy.
Right.
Because PlayStation is actually removing digital purchases from people's libraries.
I think it's something like 550 titles or somewhere thereabouts.
Yes.
They're just like you bought this movie,
but
the deal expired with the studios, so you don't have the movies anymore that you bought.
It's their licensing agreement with Canal Plus is expiring, and so all of the Canal Plus movies, that's like Terminator 2, Total Recall, Hot Fuzz, From Dusk Till Dawn, like all those kinds of movies. There's 550 something movies are all being removed, not only from the storefront so you can't buy them, but if you did buy them and they're in your library, you are losing them.
Terminator 2, Paddington? They got Paddington?
You can't take Paddington.
How you can't get him wrapped up in scandal? Not Paddington.
He's supposed to be our unproblematic boy.
Apocalypse Now, Rambo films, Bridget Jones's Diary, 551 Studio Canal films and TV shows.
So it's an interesting reminder that they're leaning very hard on the justification that when you buy these things digitally, you're not buying them, you're buying a license for them, right?
No.
And then it's, in the terms and conditions, et cetera, it's like buried that's also contingent on their licensing agreements continuing. Their licensing agreement is not continuing, and therefore you are now losing your thing. It's like, video games have done this for a while, where you get like an old Tony Hawk game or something, and a movie or a music licensing deal expired, and so now they had to take music back out of a game that you already bought. And that's been a thing that's been really shitty already. This seems like it's another step up, where they're fully like, yeah, I know you bought it, but go fuck yourself. There's no talk of refunds. There's going to be like essentially no compensation at all for this. Just, yeah, you licensed it, but that license is expired, so now it's gone.
That's crazy to me.
Go fuck yourself.
That's crazy to me. Well, also, though, I noticed when you go to buy it in these stores, it doesn't say rent or license.
No, of course not.
Long-term license.
Oh, no, it's telling you you're buying it.
It's telling you that you're buying it, right? This is something where I feel like some regulatory agency would step in.
You're buying the license.
Yeah, I guess you're buying the license, right? You want to buy it or buy it wink, right? Because you're buying a rental license too, right? But they call it renting. Right?
Exactly.
You're renting it. You want to rent it short term or you want to rent it long term. Yeah. There was many, many, many years where I was saying, I don't understand the physical media thing. Digital is clearly the way forward. It's so much more convenient when you guys stop talking about physical releases of games. Even like back when they did the Xbox One announcement, the original one. Man, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. All the people who said like this was going to be a problem, you were 100% correct. It is crazy to me that they can do this and it's not a much, much, much bigger story. That's crazy. Like, what is the overall damage that was done to these consumers?
I mean, it could be anywhere up to, let's assume, hold on, I'm going to do
let's assume all here. Like 40 million
551
owners.
Titles. Let's say someone's a really big Studio Canal fan. And they bought all 551 titles at, let's just say $20
bucks is good. Yeah,
each.
Good call.
They could be losing $11,000 in their library.
And you multiply that by 100 million PlayStations sold. I mean, yeah, we're like trillions of dollars here. It's crazy.
The damages are like off the charts.
Why not just maximize entirely? But so this brings us back around to a couple different points. Like we got lost on tangents. First of all, golden goal is when someone has a sudden death goal in overtime. Apparently, it's not a thing in FIFA. According to this, it says they used to have sudden death where the first person to score a goal wins in overtime. That's not the way they do it in FIFA, is they go all the way to the end of the overtime period, regardless of how many goals are scored. So
if you then each score a goal, you're like, fuck.
No, then
you have to do another one.
Yeah, but that could make it exciting too, though, right? That could make it exciting. Yeah. I don't know. It's not like, it's also, it was weird to me always when they had the sudden death overtime in the NFL, but then possession is such a big part of that in the NFL. Whoever gets it first has so much a better chance to score in sudden death. And they used to not even have the ability to answer if somebody else scored. I like the way the system they do it in college football, where they put you like 20 yards out in the red zone, and then they just see who can score, and you get a chance to match the other team. The other thing we were talking about was this conversation we were having around the price of GTA 6. To buy it, I guess, and maybe to license it now since there's no physicals. To long-term license GTA 6, that it's $80. And I was making the point that if you adjust for inflation, it's actually cheaper than most other GTA video games. It is the cheapest GTA game ever released, adjusted for inflation. And there was a whole discussion about, like, you can't really do that to adjust for inflation because wages haven't gone up. And so there was a long discussion about that. I don't necessarily agree with that. I understand the sentiment of it, but you can't really just, like, single out video games as being the only thing that we can remove from the inflation discussion.
I get it though. I get that it's at the very least an illustration that if inflation is going up, so your dollar doesn't go as far, but your wages are not going up, so you have less dollars that are going less, or you're not having any more dollars that are all going less distance. You have to start like trimming what you spend on.
No, totally makes
and
sense.
so I do get that your options are narrowing a big time. So I understand the sentiment, or like the mentality of where that's coming from.
But that would apply to all discretionary spending, right? To anything that's disposable income earmarked, right?
Like anything you buy on Studio Canal.
Right, exactly.
You have to make some
Your long-term licenses.
Make some hard choices.
Asterisk long-term license on PlayStation. But like movies are another good example. It's very comparable to the video game category. And the thing that it really pointed out to me is that why is it in this day and age that every developer has to announce how much their game is going to cost? Like, that's part of the announcement cycle. Movies, like when Toy Story 2 or Avengers Doomsday is coming out, there is no part in that marketing cycle where they say, oh, and tickets to Doomsday are going to cost $12.
Well, I mean, I guess it's because the studios aren't actually in control of how much the movie tickets cost, right? Like it's a different cost in every state.
No, I think we talked about this on the sponsor chat last night a little bit, but it's like, I don't think it is up to it's a negotiation with the movie theater chains, and they do some sharing based on that. It's just weird to me. Why do video games have to announce this every time? Like every single time. There's no standard even on Xbox or wherever. Like if there's basically a place where they're going to showcase their product. We know what Xbox games cost. We know what PlayStation games cost. Why do they always have to announce what the price is going to be?
Maybe here's what we do. We revolutionize the industry. Xbox sets what it wants to sell its games at. PlayStation sets what it sells its games at. On Tuesday, if you buy a game before noon, it costs less. You're buying the matinee game.
Well, I did
for your long-term license.
I did some research on it, and national averages when Toy Story came out, which is about the time that the first GTA game came out, to Toy Story 5 this past weekend. You want to talk about box office at all this weekend?
It was disappointing for Supergirl, I can tell you that.
Did I read right that it got under $40 million?
Yeah, I think it came, and I'll look this up really quick, but I want to say it came in at 38.
Here's what's crazy about that to me is the takeaway from that is how weird this year in cinema and box office is that Supergirl, a DC Comics first-party movie, is hoping in its second weekend to pass the take of Iron Lung. Think about that.
That's pretty crazy.
That's crazy to me. Just that statement alone just says so much about this year. But when Toy Story 2 came out, or Toy Story 1 came out to Toy Story 5 this past weekend, or past weekend, average ticket prices for movies went up 4 times, 400%. And in that same time frame, GTA to GTA 6, it's gone up, 33%, right? From 60 to 80, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spitballing there. I don't actually know what GTA 1 cost. But it wasn't 400%. But it's crazy that it went up that much, right? It's crazy that it went up.
But then we are seeing people have to, again, like make a decision and trim their discretionary spending because we're seeing box office drop off the way it is. So yes, Supergirl did 38 million domestically, 68 million globally.
Okay.
So it's, there a lot of these movies, if you're not Iron Lung or The Backrooms or Obsession, which are all doing awesome, and I'm super proud of all the new creators that are putting out like films that overperform. A lot of these films, especially ones with high expectations, are all underperforming as people trim their discretionary spending.
Yeah. Yep.
So it is happening. It's just the discussion takes a different shape.
Right. And the discussion about wages not going up is a much more important discussion than all these other discussions. It's interesting to me that video games themselves get singled out, and I think a big part of it is they always have to announce what their game is going to cost. Always. It's always part of the process. And I think it's standardization. Like, people don't know when they go to Toy Story 5, they know it's more expensive, but they didn't have to announce every step of the way when it was going up.
It is a little bit interesting that you don't end up with, video games have a situation where, you have your GTAs that are going to cost $80, but then you also have your indie game here that costs $20. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't put an indie movie out and go, the tickets cost a third of what other movies cost.
Correct. Yeah, they don't have to announce like what their indie movie is going to cost in theaters. You don't expect it to cost less.
The ticket price is the same.
It's the same for everything. Exactly the same. Whether you're seeing a $200 million budget movie or a $500,000 budget movie, it's the same ticket price.
It's weird to think about, isn't it?
It's
just the different ways that the various industries sort of, I guess, tackle their income goals.
And the worst part is they don't even tell you when you buy a ticket to Toy Story 5 that they have the right to erase it from your memory 4 months from now. So you'll buy it on home video again.
Once your brain licensing agreement expires.
Coming soon.
Well, before we get too far away from talking about film and video as an industry, Netflix is also doing something new and very interesting and weird, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. They're rolling out an update to some users. It's not out to everyone yet, but it is rolling out in which every profile on your account has to have its own unique email address. Which I feel like I'm not sure if this is creating problems or solving problems.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. I was about to put my hand up here. This is your story. You put it in the chat, and I read this. I'm assuming you read further into it. What problem does this solve?
We're not sure yet. Theoretically, it could do some interesting things. Like, for example, the way you and I have our Netflix account set up is we have an email address, and then that email address forwards to each of us, so we both get any emails for like logon prompts with, like one-time codes or whatever. And so we can both access that. However, in a lot of cases, it's very likely that there is just like a single email address that this goes to. And so there's only one person that is then enabled to log in on devices, right?
Okay.
Theoretically, if you've got your, two-factor authentication on. So theoretically, if each profile then has a unique email address, maybe then each of them can independently sign in without having to have access to each other's email accounts.
That sounds like that promotes account sharing.
It does,
not
yes.
reduces it.
Maybe they're then trying to like build up the ability to spin off profiles to separate, like full separate accounts.
If I can make a prediction
easily
here, they're going to get your email address. It'll be on your Ashley profile. Like if I have a Netflix account and it's on my email address, and then you make a profile on it, you can just watch whatever you want to. You log in using my email address, but then now you get your own email address and you put it on your profile. That makes that process a little bit easier. But I think really, if I'm making a prediction, now they're going to say in a year's time, every email has to have its own account, where this wasn't even a thing before. But now, like, all these different emails are registered. And guess what? We have a way to market to you directly, and we can give you like a cheaper trial or something now that your account is being disabled.
Or like we've, now that we know that this email is logging in from another location on a consistent basis, you need to spin off.
How do you know where an email address is, though? Like, you already have that with profiles.
I mean, I guess, but like
I know your profile's logging in a different place.
But I could log into like any profile from any of the locations that we would have, right? Whereas if you are consistently logging in with a specific email address from a specific location, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's part of the like like I said, I'm not sure what this is solving.
I don't know what it is either. Yeah, I think it's gonna be part of a crackdown to come, right? They're gonna collect this information for no reason whatsoever, and then sure enough, it's
and
gonna
then
be
find a reason.
Yep, absolutely.
It's gonna be a long-term licensing
Is that too
agreement.
cynical of me?
Cynical.
Otherwise,
no.
How else does it make any sense?
Realism.
All right, Ashley, who do we have to thank for having a long-term license of our podcast today?
I want to say shout out to Brian Vosberg and Dan Fedinish. Thank you both so much for investing in your long-term licensing agreement and sponsoring this episode of our show at patreon.com/morningsomewhere and roosterteeth.com.
All right, that does it for us today, Monday, June 29th, 2026. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you will be here as well.
Bye, everybody.